Welcome. Thank you for joining the Live in Divine Harmony podcast. I'm Carmen, your divine synergist of Heart's Joy. I'm a spiritual leader of purpose and a numerologist. I help those who are turned off by church, who are seeking connection, fulfillment, joy, and purpose, who may be feeling frustrated instead of experiencing joy daily. They want to fit in and will do anything to feel good, but it's not authentically who they are or what they want. Through coaching programs and events, I guide my clients to live their purpose and live intentionally every day, leading to a fulfilled and joyful life. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for notifications so you never miss another episode. Let's dive in. Welcome back to a new episode on the Live in Divine Harmony podcast. And this one is actually going to be released in the middle of the week because November 1st is on a Friday. And it happens to also be the same day as a new moon, which we're going to talk about today in the November Numerology and Energy update. So currently, I am recording this podcast episode on October 28th. And I don't know about you, the energies are definitely, it feels high strung. I actually am talking about that in the newsletter that will go out next week. And unfortunately, that's going to be a lot of the energy for November as well. So when we look at the numbers or the numerology for November, we're playing with a few different numbers. So of course, we're in a numerology 8 energy year. 2024 is an 8 energy year. And November is an 11 month. Well, 1 plus 1 is 2. And then when you add 8 plus 1 plus 1, so 8 of the current year plus November, which is 11, and you break that down to one number, you get a 1 energy. So we have a lot of 1 energy. It's a lot of fire energy this month in November, and we'll talk about what that means. When you add up the November, just the 1 plus 1, that's 2. So we'll talk about the energy of the 2. And always keep in mind for the rest of this year, we're in an 8 energy. And I'm actually, I want to touch on this now, and I'll go into it in next month's numerology and energy update. Really, not only are these last 3 months ramping up, I feel like we're actually ramping up, not winding down. We're ramping up, getting ready for 2025. But December is really going to be that big shift to catapult us into 2025. So keep that in mind as well. We're in that the last few weeks, if you will, last few days of 2024. And as always, remember, time isn't real. So, and this is the calendar dates that as humans we've agreed to. So keep that in mind. When we look at December November, what I'm calling this month is explosive communication. It's very much a feeling of the ego energy of I'm right, you're wrong. And I say that because of that 1 energy. One is a masculine energy. It's anybody who has a lot of 1s either in their name or their birthday, they have a hard time filtering anything out. They can come across harsh. So it is, I call it a fire energy, a birthing energy. It can be a harsh energy as well. So I want you to keep all of that in mind as you're going throughout the month and you're in relationship with other people, because it is also about relationships. And I can see a lot of new beginnings in relationships. And when I say that, keep in mind, it also depends on where you are personally. And we can look at that in a private numerology session where I can see your personal year, which goes birthday to birthday, and then we break that down for each monthly energy. That is something that I use personally to make decisions, both personally and professionally. So all of the information I'm sharing in the podcast is simply for everyone. We're in this, the best way to say it is the collective energy. So November is very much this egoic energy. And I like to say that I'm right, you're wrong, because not only see that happening more and more, especially around this time of election time. And there is arguments going on social media. Like, people just cannot keep their mouths shut. You're not going to change anybody's mind, I don't think, on social media. So what's the point of spewing out your energy? Because that's one, their energy leaks. And two, really, where is it getting you? You know, where are you really spending your time? So you're going to see that continuously happen in November. And the new beginnings in relationships, everybody has a relationship. What doesn't matter if they're an acquaintance, if it's a work relationship, even if it's a neighbor, everyone has a different type of relationship. Even I feel like friendships, there's different levels of friendships, right? Kind of you've got your really close knit group, and then your friends that you see sometimes, friends that you talk to every so many months, right? So there's even different levels of that too. So it's the energy of the new beginnings in relationships. And that could be a new career for you as well. It could be a new focus for you. Definitely, it's definitely new beginnings, because ones are planting new seeds, brand new beginnings. So again, depending on what your personal numerology chart says, overall, this energy is really good for starting new things, because you're in the 1 and the 8 energy. And that's a 8 energy is extremely powerful energy, which is again why I think we're going to have explosive communication, where people are there. I mean, it could be anything, run the gamut of the spectrum, right? From fighting to someone truly taking a stand, which we don't see too often anymore. We're so used to seeing people who are divisive, I'm right, you're wrong, versus taking a stand for everybody for a good. And that can still come across as an explosive communication. And of course, depending on your experiences in life, you can be okay with that, or you can feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be harmed. So keep that in mind too. It could feel like somebody's coming after you when really they're just handing you a plate of truth. And a lot of times with truth, it's something that you don't want to see. It's a hard pill to swallow, especially if you don't know how to take feedback, because feedback is all neutral. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. Just keep that in mind throughout this month. So it truly is a powerful month for brand new beginnings. Now, what I saw is that some new beginnings will appear to come out of nowhere. Like, you're not even going to see them coming. And a lot of times it's, where is your energy frequency? Are you in the present moment, or are you worried about something? Are you worried about whatever the next thing is, or what's going to happen? Or are you truly in that present moment? Start to check yourself. Where am I really focused right now? And it's so funny, because I normally don't record podcasts until Wednesdays. And there was this overwhelming feeling I had this afternoon that I have to record this right now. And I actually need to get it, like, I have to get it out to you Wednesday for whatever reason. And so I'm listening to that intuition that you actually need this information before the weekend comes, before November 1st, because November 1st is going to be a powerful day. Not only is it, you've got the 3-1 energy, 11-1-1-1. It's also the new moon. So November 1st is going to be the new moon in Scorpio. And this is an extremely powerful energy. It's transformational. It's asking yourself to really go deep, and what are you really feeling? Because how you feel is how you show up. And how can you shift that? And I'm going to take it a few steps further because that's what we talk about, and it's what you learn in the Cultivate Confidence and Clarity Masterclass, which is also now retreat as well. If you did not listen to the last podcast, go check it out. Go check out the website, hearts-joy.com. And we do all of this in there, both on the masterclass, which is changing. It's now going to be live virtually with me a few times a year, and then the retreats in person. And there's a reason why I talk a lot about feelings, because how you feel is how you're going to show up. Is your energy low? Are you feeling kind of down in the dumps? And then giving you tools on how to shift that, because that's what you're causing in your world. That's what you're creating in your, what I call your world, your 3D world. It's what you're experiencing. And if you think, yeah, I'm happy, and you could just be really settling. You could just be settling for what you know because it's comfortable. And so this new moon is going to be an extremely powerful, potent day for new beginnings, for what do you want? I'm even going to take it a few steps further. What do you want your life to look like in 2025? It's funny because normally the masterclass is launched in November. There's a reason for that, because it's time to prep for the new year. And it's interesting. I've noticed how business owners, we're already prepping for 2025. And humans are still thinking, holy cow, Christmas is around the corner. The holidays are around the corner. What am I going to do? And instead of planning out further from where they are right now. It's so interesting. And so when you're ready to take those steps, when you're truly ready to look at 2025, get on the wait list for the masterclass, for the retreat. Those all, I don't have dates yet for the masterclass. It depends on how many people we get signed up and what that looks like. If we get 10 people on the wait list within 48 hours, then we can launch in the next couple weeks. So it's really up to you. Again, it's what are you willing to feel? How deep are you willing to go? Because it's all a choice. It's all a choice to truly feel our feelings. And remember, we're all mirrors. We are all mirrors for each other. So if you're upset with somebody, you're normally not upset. You're not upset with them for something surface level. It's something deeper. And it's because it's mirroring something back to you about yourself. And I say that because it all goes back to feelings, and you can shift your feelings. And the feeling piece is one of the many ways on how to manifest. And manifesting, creating intentions, this is the time to do it on the new moon. And I'm going to encourage you to create those intentions, to really focus on those things throughout that weekend. And if you are ready to level it up and take it to whole new heights, then get on the wait list for the Cultivate Confidence and Clarity Masterclass, because the masterclass in there, we do take it to whole new heights. It's the best way to explain it. So I'm really excited about what November has in store for us. And I also understand that it is election year as well. And a lot of people are, I feel like, walking on pins and needles. And I'm going to talk about that in the next newsletter that goes out next week. And what is it that you're truly focusing on? Are you trusting? Are you leaning into that trust? Or are you so hyper focused on the outcome of that election and what that may mean? And it's interesting. I've already voted. This is my first time doing early voting. And I went in person and voted this past weekend. And I actually said that phrase to the two people who were standing in front of me. And the lady looked at me and she said, well, what does that even mean? And I said, well, things are not gonna look how we think they're gonna look. So if you think that there's gonna be, and I use this as an example, which she was totally triggered by because it wasn't her faith. And I just kind of chuckle. Leave it to me, right? If you know me well at all, leave it to me. And I said, well, it's a lot of people believe in the second coming of Christ. And that's just not, I don't believe in the physical second coming of Christ. It's energetically second coming of Christ. It's very different. But some people are so tied to a truth that they've been told, which is really a lie, that they've been told, and it's simply a story or a narrative to keep them under control, to keep them to coming back to church, to keep them to giving to the business, because that's all churches are, a business. And so Jesus himself is not going to be coming back. Jesus has been here the whole time. Have you been connected to the Jesus energy, the true Jesus energy, or are you connected to the Luciferian agenda energy? And most people are connected to the Luciferian energy and they don't even realize it. And I say all of that because it goes back to things with, especially with this election, may appear one way and it's truly not that at all. And so can you let go of your preconceived notions? Can you flip and turn off the news and start to go inward and start to ask yourself what really is going on? And then start to do some investigation on your own. And if you aren't sure about anything that I'm talking about right now, reach out, join me in the Experience Your Awakening community. I don't talk about it in there, and I'm happy to answer questions in there. That's what that community is for. So when we look at the rest of November, their full moon is going to be in Taurus on November 15th. And first off, full moon is a time of release, right? So think back to when you have a new moon in Scorpio, you go back to when was the last full moon in Scorpio? What did you release then? And then that comes full circle when you have a new moon in Scorpio. It's not month by month per se, like some people think. It's actually by which sign that it's in. It's the energy of the sign. So when you look at the energy of Taurus, the Taurus energy it's focused on beauty and sensuality, food, comfort. It's very contemplative, which goes along with that feminine energy. When you look at the energy of November, it's a both. It's the and conversation. It's that explosive communication and the divine feminine energy, the nurturing energy, the peaceful energy. And so it could be really easy for you to let go during this full moon in Taurus, if you so choose. Remember, everything is a choice. So if something's proven to be difficult, first ask yourself, am I trying to control it? Am I in my head? Am I, or am I being present? Am I going with the flow, the harmony that I've talked about so much? So this full moon in Taurus can be peaceful if you allow it to be. Letting go can be easy if you allow it to be. It's all a choice. Now, when you look at the retrogrades, Saturn's been in retrograde since end of June, and it's getting ready to go direct November 15th. And that has been one huge feedback loop over and over and over and over since June 29th. And there have been some tough lessons, most likely, that you have experienced during this time. And what have you put out there? Remember, it's a boomerang. It's that energy is going to come back to you. That's what karma is. It's a big feedback loop. And so what did you put out that you've been receiving back? And do you realize that that's been your karma in this lifetime? Could be past lives too, but for sure in this lifetime. Have you been taking responsibility? True responsibility. Responsibility is simply ownership. There's no shame, blame, guilt. A lot of times we throw those in there and take it out. And responsibility is different than accountability. Just know that this is the time, this has been the time since June to clear unresolved issues, to acknowledge any past mistakes, to shift that feedback loop and truly take ownership of your choices. Neptune has been in retrograde since July, beginning of July, and it will station direct December 7th. Uranus has been retrograde since September 1st. It has been a huge disruptor, and it is going to, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. January 30th, 2025 is when it's going to station direct. And keep all of this in mind when you look at the time frame of the election, of things going on in your life, what you're working on right now. All of this energy is out in what I call the others, and it is impacting every single one of us. And then you have that Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, which started October 9th. It goes through February 4th. This is a huge time of expansion. And it's going to expand whatever energy frequency you're in. So what energy frequency are you in every single day? Are you being consistent in a higher energy frequency? You've got to have consistency. And then, of course, Chiron retrograde will end at the end of this year. So keep all of that in mind, because it is truly all impacting us, along with the Schumann resonance as well. I'll be honest, I have not kept as close of an eye on it as I normally do this past month. I did notice the other day it was up to 50. And at this point, it's just spiking from what I can tell. It'll, what I call, be real quiet and peaceful on the old normal, because to me, this is the new normal. The old normal where it was in single digits, and then we'll get one or a few days of where it spikes up. So keep all of this in mind. This is when it's really important for you to have a daily spiritual practice, one that includes body movement, breathing techniques, getting outside, getting out in the sun, grounding, journaling. Clearly, you all know I love to journal. And so how can you incorporate this to kickstart your day? It's okay if it's going to change. Mine has dramatically shifted because it's going to shift as you shift. So it's okay. It's change. I just responded to somebody earlier and I said, change is the only constant. Like, change is inevitable. So for me, I mean, holy cow, just looking back on a year ago and even where I was just in January, my whole life is different now here at the end of October. And it's supposed to be different. So continue to go with the flow, continue to be in that harmony of it all. And if you are out there and maybe you're turned off by church, maybe you're not, maybe you're just simply seeking connection, you're looking for some fulfillment, some joy in your life, and you're definitely a purpose seeker, you realize that there's something more to life than your, it's so much bigger than your 8 to 5, right? Or your 9 to 4 job. You're really looking for some substance of your life, and maybe you're feeling frustrated and you're not experiencing joy daily. Join us in the Experience Your Awakening community. Let's get these conversations going in the community. Right now, my goal is to go live bi-weekly in there, and a lot of it depends on what's happening energetic wise and what the needs are in that community. All of the courses are there as well. And I had added on a new offering last month. You can go check it out. So until the next podcast episode, I will see you in the Experience Your Awakening online community. Sending you much love. Take care.